Hi, this is Krista at The Secret Yarnery. Today we are going to make this gorgeous Sunday granny crochet shawl. You're going to love this pattern so much. It's a super simple one-row repeat that's easy to remember. And this open, lacy design looks fantastic and can be made with any yarn and any color combination. If you'd like to follow along with a written pattern, it's available over on my website, secretyarnery.com. And you don't have to worry about being able to read a pattern. All of my patterns are written in plain English, just like I'm speaking in this video. You can also keep track of your projects with this crochet project planner. You can print off as many copies as you like. They're blanks. You can use them for all of your projects, and I will link this in the description box down below as well. To make the Sunday Granny shawl, you will need 3 different colors of yarn. I'm using Favorite from Icy Yarns and also one Softly Baby, but if you could find 3 shades of yarn in the same type, go for it. This is a size 4 worsted weight acrylic, but it's kind of thin. It's almost like a DK. I used 100 grams for each of my stripes and also a little bit extra for the border. So about 125 grams of each color and about 25 grams of white. If you want to make your Sunday Granny shawl with 1 color yarn, you will need 400 grams. I will be using a 6.5 millimeter crochet hook for this pattern. If you don't have a 6.5 millimeter, you can just use a 6 millimeter. You will also need 12 stitch markers just for keeping track of your chain. Those are optional. And a needle for sewing in your ends and a pair of scissors. So let's get started. This pattern is a multiple of 8 plus 6, so go ahead and make a slip knot any which way you normally do. Shrink that down and pop it onto your hook. Grab your 12 stitch markers. We are going to be chaining sets of 16. So chain 16, 1, 2, 3, and 16. Now we have our pretty little V's facing up. We just want to roll them to the side, and we want to look for these camel bumps. So there's one camel bump right underneath our working yarn, right there. That's where we want to pop in our first stitch marker, like that. And now go ahead and chain 16 more, pop in a stitch marker all the way until all of your stitch markers are finished, or you have chained 192. For this tutorial, I'm just going to be doing a sample size. So when you have finished chaining your 192, or you've finished your 12 stitch markers, go ahead and chain 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Just put your thumb on those pretty little V's and roll that chain to the side. We want to look for that very first back loop right underneath our working yarn, right here. We want to look for the second one. That one you can see a lot easier right here. We're going to be working in to the second back loop, or the second chain. So slide your hook in, or just poke that back loop onto your hook and make 1 single crochet. Just like that. Chain 1. So roll that chain to the side. We're going to count our back loops. We're looking for the 4th back loop. So here is 1, 2, 3. Here is number 4. It is also right before our stitch marker. So our stitch markers are going to help us keep track and make sure we're in the right spot of our chain. So wrap your yarn and into that 4th back loop. Just slide it onto your hook. If working into your back loops is hard, you could just work into the front. And make 1 double crochet. Chain 1, 1 double crochet. Chain 1, 1 double crochet, all into the same stitch. Chain 1. Now we're going to skip 3 chains again. So our first chain has a stitch marker in it. The second one is right after, and then there's the third. We're going to be working into the 4th back loop, or the 4th chain. So into the 4th chain, 1 single crochet. chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1 single crochet into that same stitch. Chain 1. So we've done a scoop, this guy here, and we've just done a cherry, our little one right there. So we're just going to alternate doing scoops and cherries all the way along this chain. So skipping 3 again, 1, 2, 3, working into the 4th, right there. We're going to make a scoop. Scoops are 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, all into the very same chain, the very same stitch. Skip 3 chains again. So look for your back loops. 1, 2, 3. We're going to be going into number 4, and we're going to make a cherry. Cherries, just slide that back loop on your hook, are 1 single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1 single crochet into the same stitch, chain 1. Just like that. And don't worry if it looks all kind of bunched up like this, like it's the wrong stitch count, it's not going to work out. Mine looks like that too. Don't worry, it'll get fixed in the next row. So skip 3 chains again, and that's going to end up right before our next stitch marker. So that's how we're going to keep track that we're going into the right spot. Wrap your yarn, and into the 4th chain, we're going to do our scoop. Scoops are 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, and chain 1. So now you can pause the video and keep working along your chain, doing a scoop and skipping 3 and doing a cherry all the way along your chain, and I'll meet you when you get closer to the end. At the end of your row, you'll just finish your last cherry with your chain 1, and we have 4 chains left. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to work into the very last chain, chain number 4. So to end our row, we do 1 double crochet just into that very last chain, into the 4th chain from our hook, 1 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 double crochet. So that's how we're going to end all of our rows. So that finishes row 1. To start row 2, this is the repeat, so all of our rows will be the same row, just repeated over and over again. So to start your row, chain 1 and turn your work. Into this very first stitch, right here, we're going to do 1 single crochet. So put your hook in and 1 single crochet, chain 1. And now for this row, our cherries are going to get scoops, and our scoops are going to get cherries right into that center stitch of our scoops. So center of the cherry and center stitch of the scoop all the way along. So into the center of our cherry, we're going to do a scoop. Scoops are 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1. Now into the center of our scoop, we're going to do a cherry. So that is just this center double crochet right there. We're going to go right into that stitch. You want 2 strands of that V on the top of our hook. So into the center stitch of that scoop, 1 single crochet, chain 3, and 1 single crochet, chain 1. Into the cherry, we're going to do a scoop right into the middle of that cherry. So that is 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 double crochet, chain 1. Into the center stitch of your scoop, that stitch right there, we are going to do our cherry. So that is 1 single crochet, chain 3, and 1 single crochet, chain 1. So now you can pause the video and keep working along, making a scoop into the center of each cherry and a cherry into the center stitch of each scoop all the way along, and I'll meet you when we get closer to the end of the row. At the end of your row, we have this little blip left, this little lump at the end. We're going to go right in to that very last stitch. Right there, we want to get 2 strands of that V on the top of our hook. And to end your row, 1 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 double crochet. So that finishes row 2. So now pause the video and keep working along, doing your 12 rows of your first color, and I will meet you to show you how to change color into this white. When you have completed your 12 rows, you are ready to make your row of white or whatever neutral color you're using. At the end of your row, just finish it almost like usual. So our 1 double crochet, chain 1, and start your second double crochet, but don't finish it. So start your second double crochet, leave those last 2 loops on your hook. You can go ahead and cut your yarn. Get a loop of your white yarn or whatever color you're using to break up your colors. And put a loop on your hook, long enough to sew in with a needle later. And finish that double crochet with your new color of yarn. Drop your tails, holding them at the back of your work. Shrink that down and chain 1. Turn your work. And now repeat row 2 again, but with your white color yarn or your neutral color. At the end of this row, do your double crochet and chain 1. Into that last stitch. And now start your last double crochet, but don't finish it. You want to leave those last 2 loops on your hook. Go ahead and get your next color of yarn, your medium color, loop of that yarn on your hook, and we're just going to finish that double crochet with your new color of yarn. Just like that, and chain 1. So you can snug down those tails, just give them 1 little loose knot, just so they kind of stay put, just like that. Now keep going and do 12 rows of your medium color. Do 1 row of white, and then 12 rows of your last color, and I'll meet you back for that very last row. When you have finished the last row of your wrap or your shawl, chain 1 and turn your work. Make 1 single crochet into this very first stitch, 1 single crochet. And now I'm going to change hooks. So I've been using a 6.5 millimeter for my wrap, and this is going to be the top edge of my shawl. So I want it to be a little bit resistant so it doesn't just stretch right out around my neck. So I'm going to switch to a 6 millimeter hook just for this very last chain, this very last row. So to start the last row with your smaller hook, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and single crochet into that very first cherry. 1 single crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet into the center stitch of the scoop. 1 single crochet. So chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, single crochet into the center of the cherry. Chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and single crochet into the center stitch of the scoop. 1 single crochet. So now you can pause the video and keep working along, making a chain 3 and a single crochet either into the scoop or the cherry all the way along, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. At the end of your row, do your last chain 3 and single crochet into that last stitch. 1 single crochet. Chain 1 to secure your yarn. Cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail to sew in with a needle later. Pull your hook up and your yarn through and snug that down to secure. Sew in your tails and you're finished, or we can start on the border. Now we're going to start putting our border along our edge. And what we want to be looking for are these little circle spots. So lay yours out flat in front of you on a table or something and take a look. You want to be looking for these little circles. That's where we're going to be working in to the edge of our shawl. So to start, we're going to go right into that very first single crochet right there. Just pop your hook in, and we're going to start with our white color yarn. So grab a loop of yarn and put it on your hook, bring it through, and slip stitch with both strands to join. Drop your tail and chain 2. 1 and 2. Now into this very next, that circle we're looking for, this very next stitch right here, that's where we're going to make our first single crochet, right there. 1 single crochet, and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to jump over to this next little circle, those ones we were looking for before. Each of these little circles is going to get a single crochet. So into the next little circle, 1 single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and into the next circle right here, 1 single crochet. 1 single crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And now into this next spot right here where our 2 double crochets start, this little circle, that is going to be where we put our next single crochet. Right there. Chain 3. Our next little spot is right here. 1 single crochet. Chain 3. And 1 single crochet into the next spot, right there. 1 single crochet. Chain 3. Don't worry when you change color, it's the same thing. Right where those 2 double crochets meet, that is where we're going to be putting in our single crochet. So 1 single crochet and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 single crochet into the next space, right there. So you can pause the video and keep working along, doing a chain 3 and 1 single crochet into that circular stitch right where our 2 double crochets start, all the way along the edge of your shawl. And I'll meet you when we get closer to the end. At the end of your row, there's just this 1 little stitch left. So we're going to go in there and do our last single crochet. And just to give ourselves a little bit of extra space, a little bit of ampleness on our border, we're going to do 1 more of these sets, but we're just going to do a chain 2, 1 and 2. And now look for that very next chain right along your chain here. We want to get 2 strands on your hook. We're just going to make ourselves a new little corner. So just into that very next chain. Let's pop your hook in, 2 strands of that chain on the top of your hook, and make 1 single crochet, but leave it on your hook. You don't want to finish this next one. So go ahead and cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail to sew in with a needle later, and grab your lightest color. Grab a loop of that light color yarn and finish that single crochet with your new color. Just like that. Drop your tail and hold both of those tails along the back of your work. Chain 1 and turn your work. Into this very first single crochet right here, we're going to make our 1 single crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and into the next stitch, that next single crochet, 1 single crochet. Just put your hook right into that stitch and make 1 single crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now into the stitch, 1 single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, chain 3, into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, chain 3, and now you can pause the video and keep working along, doing a chain 3 and a single crochet into each of these little stitches all the way along. It's the same as our last row, but even easier. We're just working into the stitches we just made. So chain 3 and 1 single crochet all the way along, and I'll meet you when you get closer to the end. At the end of your row, we're going to go into that second to last single crochet. So 1 single crochet, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of extra space for our border. Now we're going to go right into that very first stitch we made. So it's right down here, right by those legs of that very first stitch where we did our slip stitch. That is what we are going to go into, right down in there. So pop your hook in and make 1 single crochet. Just like that. So now we're ready to start row 3. To start row 3, chain 1 and turn your work. Make 1 single crochet into that very first stitch, right there. Chain 1. Now into this very next single crochet, the next stitch, we are going to do our scoop. So wrap your yarn and into that next single crochet, we'll do 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1. So that is our first scoop. Now into the next stitch right here, we're going to do a cherry. So that is single crochet, chain 3, and 1 single crochet into the same stitch, chain 1. Wrap your yarn and into the next single crochet. Into that next stitch, we are going to do our scoop. So that is 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 double crochet, chain 1. Into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, chain 3, and 1 single crochet into the same stitch, chain 1. So you can pause the video and keep working along, doing a scoop and a cherry and a scoop and a cherry and a scoop and a cherry and a scoop and a cherry, all the way along, 1 into each of these single crochets in the row below, and I'll meet you when you get closer to the end. At the end of your row, just finish that last cherry, and we're going to make our single crochet right into this single crochet down below, but we're not going to finish it. We're going to change colors. So into that stitch, start your single crochet, leave it on your hook, cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail to sew in with a needle later. Grab your next color of yarn, your next shade, your medium color, loop of yarn on your hook, and finish that stitch with your new color. Drop your tails, just pinching them at the back of your work, and chain 1. So go ahead and turn your work. 1 single crochet into that very first stitch, right here, 1 single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1 single crochet right into the space of that first cherry, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1 single crochet into the center stitch of that scoop. 1 single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 single crochet into the center of the cherry, chain 3, 1 single crochet into the center stitch of that scoop, chain 3. So now you can pause the video and keep working along, doing a single crochet into the center of the cherry, or a single crochet into the center stitch of your scoop, all the way along, and I'll meet you when you get closer to the end of the row. At the end of your row, I've done my chain 3, and now we're just going to single crochet right down here into that single crochet at the end of our row, right down over there. So 1 single crochet to finish the row. To start row 5, chain 1 and turn your work. Make 1 single crochet into that very first stitch, chain 1. So now let's take a look at what we did down below for these scoops and cherries. We want to be doing the opposite. So the first one here is a scoop, so we want to do a cherry on top. So we're going to start with cherry for this row. So into this first stitch, 1 single crochet, chain 3, and 1 single crochet, chain 1. Next, we have a cherry down below, so we're going to do a scoop on top. So 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1. So into the next stitch, 1 cherry. So single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 1, and into the next we're going to do a scoop. So 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1. So now I can pause the video and keep working along, doing the opposite of what we did for the color down below. So scoops get cherries and cherries get scoops all the way along, and I'll meet you when we get closer to the end of this row. At the end of our row, we're going to make 1 single crochet right down here into this stitch, but we're not going to finish it. We're just going to start that single crochet and leave it on our hook. We're going to change our colors to our last color, the darkest color that we have. So loop of your last color onto your hook, and finish that single crochet with your new color yarn. Drop your tails, just holding them along the back of your work. Chain 1. Turn your work and make 1 single crochet into this very first stitch. Right there, 1 single crochet. So now we're going to be doing our chains and single crochets for this row. So chain 3 and 1 single crochet either into the center stitch of your scoop or the center of your cherry all the way along this row. So single crochet into the center stitch of the scoop, chain 3, and single crochet into the center of the cherry, chain 3. So you can pause the video and keep working along, doing a single crochet into the center stitch of your scoop, and chain 3 and single crochet into the center of your cherry all the way along this row, and I'll meet you when we get closer to the end. At the end of our row, we're going to make our last stitch right here, our last single crochet right into that stitch of the row down below. 1 single crochet. Make sure you get 2 strands of that stitch on the top of your hook. Chain 1 and turn your work. 1 single crochet into this very first stitch right by our chain. 1 single crochet, chain 1. And now looking at what we did in the color down below, we start with a cherry, so now we want to start with a scoop. We want to do the opposite. So cherries get scoops and scoops get cherries for this row. So wrap your yarn and into that first stitch, we'll do our scoop. So 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1. Into the next stitch, we're going to do our cherry. So 1 single crochet, chain 3, and 1 single crochet, chain 1. So now I can pause the video and keep working along, doing the opposite of what we did in the color down below. So next is going to be a scoop, then a cherry, then a scoop, then a cherry, all the way along, and I'll meet you when you get closer to the end of this row. At the end of your row, I've done my last cherry and my chain 1. Now we're just going to do our last single crochet right down here, right into that first stitch, 1 single crochet, and chain 1. So that is going to secure our yarn. Cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail to sew in with a needle later. Pull your hook up and your yarn through and snug that down to secure. So now do the exact same thing on the other end of your shawl, making sure you give yourself a little bit of extra space, that extra chain 2 with a single crochet at the beginning and the end of that row. Sew in your tails and you're finished. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did. I would love to see how yours turned out. You can find me on social media. All of those links are in the description box down below. And if you haven't joined or subscribed to this channel, go ahead and click those buttons under this video right now. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below, and we'll see you in the next video. Stay hooked.